Now then, so this is the KGM Actyon, and if you saw my last video you might actually recognise it, because courtesy of Livingston Motor Group in Driffield I got the chance to spend 4 days with it. But back then it seemed a bit of a bargain and it seemed a bit of a good thing practicality wise, but 4 days just doesn't cut it to get under a car's skin, really. Doesn't, does it? So thank you to KGM UK. I've been spending the last week with the Actyon just to get a better feel for it, see what it's like daily with the family, and look at a few important things. One is how it drives on the road, just a bit more in depth than the last time I had it, and looking at something most important when it comes to a family car, practicality. That's one thing we're going to look at, and the other is its running costs. We're going to look at how much it costs to run it day to day, long-term running costs, and if it is an absolute gem of a bargain, and if you're going to save yourself some money compared to its Korean, German or European rivals. Hey up, I'm Eddie and welcome to my channel Pitt Motoring, where I bring you straight talking, honest reviews of used and new family cars. So if that sounds good, please do consider giving a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more new and used car reviews. So let's find out with the ultimate family test, and the thing that a lot of family car buyers are asking, and that is the practicality and space. So let's find out. Right, let's start where most families will, and that is, will it actually fit all of my stuff every morning without a wrestling match? Because space, and I mean proper usable space, is the Actyon's party piece. It's not just good, it's brilliant. First off, the boot is enormous. Now, KGM will throw a number at you in a brochure, which is all well and good, and same with any other car. But what matters most is how usable that space actually is. And in the Actyon, it's a big thumbs up. You can get tons in there. Now, my kids are out of the pram stage, so I haven't actually got one to throw in the back here just to show you, but I've put my daughter's Isofix car seat in there, which is a big chunky old seat. And as you can see, there's still plenty of room. So if you think a travel system is roughly the same sort of size, maybe a little bit narrower, it's a fantastic space. And I've had my camera gear in here. I've had my kids' things in here when we've been out going swimming and doing whatever else. And it is so easy to live with. It is a really wide square opening. You've got a low load lip, so lifting your shopping in and out is absolutely bang on. And not just that, it's practical with little storage hooks. You do get some underfloor storage, but it's not a massive amount. But not to worry, because you've got such a usable space back there in the boot that you're not really going to use it that often. And as a family car, it's not just the boot area that is a dream. Come on, in the back here, in the back, you'll find enough room that you can swing a cat, which is perfect for everyday families with young children, teenagers, or even if you're carrying grandparents and friends. Now, I'm around 5'9", 5'10" in height, and this seat is in my driving position, and I mean, I have a ton of leg room. Headroom would be sort of encroached, but it's not. So if you do have teenage lads or girls that are very tall, or family and friends that are up to 6 foot or more, they're still going to have plenty of headroom. The seats are nice and wide, so you can actually get 3 adults across the rear bench. And if you've got a teenager as well as young children with car seats, they're not going to be squashed in this middle seat between 2 car seats. Now, there is a bit of an exhaust tunnel, so there is a bit of a hump. So if you do get your legs up there, you are in the fetal position a little bit. But because there's enough space in the footwells on either side, You get your feet down there, you're not going to be encroaching knees, which is absolutely brilliant. But here's the big winner, and a big massive thumbs up to KGM, because they have families in mind with the Actyon. It's got built-in sun blinds in the back, obviously to help protect young children, babies, and even gingers like myself from the sun. And the clever bit, these doors open really nice and wide, as I'll demonstrate now with my daughter's Isofix car seat. You're not contorting yourself in loads of different ways, doing a bit of yoga, trying to get your child's car seat in here. And the Isofix points that are on either outer seat are just so easy to navigate. It's super simple to fit your child's car seat. So if you do have Isofix seats for your kids, and you are looking at something like the Actyon for your everyday family car, you know that this is a big plus point. And even for your kids, armrest with a couple of cup holders, so it keeps those fruit shoots close to hand. Not just that, you get these racks on the back of the front headrests, which are great for hanging clothes on. So if you're going camping and you've got certain posh shirts for when you go out for a meal, you can just hang them up on there. And you know what the absolute winner is? My youngest daughter has an Amazon Fire Kids tablet. It's got a chunky case on it, perfect, saves a hold in it while we're driving when she's watching one of her videos. She just slots it in there and it grips it really well. So it doubles up as a little tablet holder as well. So you get a built-in screen, decent sized door bin, and you even get a cup holder in there too. Plus, if you've got older kids or you're transporting family or friends, if it's a bit of a chilly day, you've got two-way heated seats on both outer rear seats here. See, KGM have thought of everything for family practicality, and that is a big, big plus point. So now, let's get on to the most important bit, which is for mum and dad. The back is a proper win for families, but what about you? You're the one that's going to be here behind the wheel day in, day out. So, what's it like up front? Well, first impressions are good. Not just good, really good actually. We get these twin 12.3-inch display screens, a minimalist sweeping dash, and in this K50 trim, which just so happens to be the only trim available here in the UK, we get these luscious Napa leather seats. Heated and cooled as standard. Now you don't get that on a Qashqai or a Sportage unless you're going to throw a small fortune at the options list. Storage is bang on too. You have this big storage cubby underneath the centre armrest. Decent cup holders in the centre console, as well as two cup holders in each door. We have a wireless charger. We even have a decent amount of storage underneath the centre console. Now, the only thing that lets this interior down is the door bins. Don't get me wrong, they're big enough, but they're hard plastic. So pretty much anything that you chuck in there is just going to rattle around like in your old nan's cutlery drawer. And that brings me on to another questionable subject with the quality here in the Actyon. From a distance, it looks smart, but up close, it's a bit of a mixed bag. The top of the dash is soft and nice, same with the top of the doors. But when you get a bit lower down the dash, and here in the centre, and even the door bins, it gets really hard, cheap, scratchy plastics. And this fake wood trim on the dash, and a bit of the, obviously, fake carbon fibre, it just doesn't land. But it does blend nicely and aesthetically looks okay, and especially with the red stitching that you get across the top of the dash, in the doors, steering wheel, and even the seats, it does give it a bit of a premium feel. But then there's the infotainment screen. It looks great, you get nice sharp graphics, you get wired Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, as well as being able to connect via Bluetooth, which is all good until you come to use it. and that's where it lets it down a little bit. It's very slow and laggy to wake up when you get in and first start the car, or whenever you start the car. It's a little laggy when you're on the move, which isn't always great. And KGM have made the classic mistake of putting all your climate through the infotainment screen. So if you want to turn the fan down while you're driving, good luck doing it without jabbing the screen 3 or 4 times and missing your turn off. I know, because I did it. On the plus side though, the visibility is absolutely excellent. Nice square windscreen with narrow A-pillars, so you do get a good view around. And not only that, but with a good 360-degree camera, it makes parking an absolute doddle. But all in all, it's a bit of a mixed bag, really. I mean, you get loads of equipment and comfort, but it's let down by fiddly tech and cheap feeling bits, which is a bit of a downer, really. So that leaves me on to another thing that I wanted to bring to you about the KGM Actyon now that I've been able to spend a bit more time with it. And that is actually how it performs and drives on roads here in the UK. So let's take it for a drive and let's find out. Now this is where the Actyon starts to show just a few cracks. Here in the UK there's only one engine choice, and it's a 1.5 litre 4-cylinder turbo petrol. It has 163 brake horsepower and 260 newton meters of torque. It's front wheel drive only, and it's mated to a 6-speed automatic gearbox. Now that sounds decent enough on paper, and around town it's alright. It's quiet-ish, it pulls okay, and the high up driving position is actually quite confidence inspiring. And the square corners on the front end and obviously the rear, it's easy to manoeuvre around town. But the gearbox, well, it's not great. It's sluggish and can be a little lazy and unsure of itself. Sometimes it holds onto a gear a little bit too long, and sometimes it just likes to change down a gear like it's trying to impress someone. It just doesn't overall feel that smooth. And then we have the ride. Yeah, I've come to the bumpiest area that I know where I am from in Scarborough, and that is the cobbles down Marine Drive. Usually smooth as a daisy in a lot of the new cars that I have to test, but this Actyon, just to show a few little niggles. It's a bit jittery, but the overall ride is the bit of a biggie. Throughout my week with it, I've found that the suspension is just quite firm. It does ride a lot better on these Michelin tyres. On a smooth dual carriageway, it's alright. It's nice and smooth. But as soon as you get it on your typical B road with ups and downs, undulations and camber and all that jazz, that's where it starts to get a little bit unsettled. It fidgets and jiggles constantly, especially on that road from Scarborough up to Whitby. I found that obviously quite unsettling for it. There is a good level of grip, and I think that's down to the tyres, and overall it does grip quite well. It's chuckable. You can chuck it into a corner. The only thing is, the steering is very numb. There is literally no feel whatsoever through the wheel. The wheel is so light, it's great for round town, but when you're wanting a legitimate driving engagement from it, it's just not there. I mean, that could come with a bit of polishing and a bit of finesse. Obviously KGM are a new brand here in the UK, so they are still building a reputation for themselves. But something along the lines of the Qashqai, the Sportage, the Tucson, they do have a bit more driver engagement and have a bit of feel to it. Get it on the motorway though, and things do calm down. It is a smooth and pleasant ride. It cruises really well. Obviously you have that adaptive cruise control, so you just sit back, relax, and it is a pleasant journey. Road and wind noise is actually really well kept, and that's thanks to some really good sound deadening. On a long drive on a motorway or dual carriageway, you do get a nice bit of peace and quiet. And I think that, especially from a driver's perspective, for a family car, is the Actyon's party piece. Now, let's get on to the elephant in the room, so to say. And that is the bit where I'm going to be honest with you. That's obviously the overall running costs and cost of ownership that you could possibly expect from the Actyon as a family car. Now, should we start off with the worst bit first? If you've got the Actyon on your radar for a family car, and I did sort of briefly cover this in my 4 days with it in my last video, and that is the miles per gallon. That is the big elephant in the room. One thing this Actyon would be fantastic with is either a traditional diesel or a hybrid. It's screaming for just that little something better. Overall, as a package, it is fantastic if the powertrain was right. And sadly, this 1.5 litre turbo just doesn't cut it. Now, official WLTP figures claim 33.1 miles to the gallon, which, to be fair, not too bad. The equivalent sort of Subaru Forester gets mid-35s, and that is a hybrid. So you'd expect that this is sort of alright, and you might be onto a winner with a bit of a bargain because of the price of the Actyon. Well, that's where you're wrong. I've done a good few hundred miles throughout my week, and mixed of motorway, dual carriageway, and a lot around town with my family. I've had the kids in it, I've had all sorts in it. My camera gear, taking it on photo shoot jobs that I do, freelance wise, and I reckon a few on Instagrams that replied to a story claimed high 20s, low 30s. Sorry to say, I've averaged slightly over 25 miles to the gallon. Now, I will admit, I haven't got the lightest of feet, so to say. So I am a little bit heavy-footed, but a lot of the driving that I've done on dual carriageways and motorways has been with the adaptive cruise control. Obviously, I've set it below the speed limit, obviously, because I'm a good boy. And that mixed with the driving around town that I have done, yeah, it's 25 miles to the gallon. That is the little bit of a kicker. And what you would be saving, sort of like what we're saying for equivalent top spec Qashqai and Sportage, Tucson, things like that, or even something with the same sort of tech and kit level that you'd get from the likes of VW and Audi, you're saving anywhere from 4 or 5 grand up to 10, maybe 12. You're going to be at that pump twice as much, and what you'd save on the buying of the Actyon, you're going to lose out because you're going to constantly be filling it up all the time. And that's a bit of a hindrance as well when you're trying to nip about and take your kids to brownies or scouts or football or swimming. The last thing you want to be doing is pulling into a petrol station when you're already busy, filling it back up again. Whereas if you had a hybrid or a diesel, you'd get that miles per gallon. You'd get more for your money, more value. So that is one thing to do with the running costs that I'd like to see with the Actyon. Now, the next bit I wanted to speak about with running costs and overall value is road tax. Because of the powertrain and because it's not as efficient as it should be in 2025, you get stung on that first year's official road tax, that first year. And I mean, I hope you sat down because you need to brace yourself. That first year's road tax is £1,650. Yes, you heard that right. And just so you didn't, I'm going to say it again. £1,650. Now, that is an incredible amount of money. And just to go on road tax, to drive on potholed roads, it's ridiculous. Now, this is where something that, like I say, with KGM need to address is the powertrain. Because obviously, if you had a hybrid, if you had a diesel, obviously the emissions would be better. That road tax would be lower because of the emissions, and you would get more for your money, miles per gallon wise. And now on to the last little bit that I think I need to cover is obviously a lot of people have heard of SsangYong, or had not heard of SsangYong, but still a lot of people here in the UK have never heard of them. And obviously now they've rebranded as KGM, and they're still a relatively new brand. The amount of people that have stopped me this week, I mean, it's been busy here in Scarborough, so where I've parked, there's been a lot of people. It's been drawing a lot of interest and having a lot of questions. And I've even had a few people tell me it looks like a Tibu Range Rover. And when I tell them the price, they're actually quite surprised and actually really interested. But the only downside to KGM being a new brand here in the UK is the resale values. With them being a lesser known brand, obviously with the likes of Kia, Hyundai, Volkswagen, Skoda, they're obviously very well known. Sorry, I'm just being a gentleman and letting a van out. They're very well known and reputable. They're well known, they're like a household name, so to speak. So that helps with the resale value, obviously keeps it higher. Whereas with the Actyon and KGM, it's not very well known. So if you do come after 3 years to resell it, that is going to be a considerable drop. And you probably will lose out on a fair bit of coin. A little bit. So unless you're going to keep it long term, that's when you're going to get your value for money. But if it's 3 years down the line, you're going to look at selling it and obviously moving on to something newer. That's where you're going to see a bit of the depreciation. Now I'm stopped at good old B&M because my daughter's got a birthday party tomorrow and I need to pick up a present for her friend. But the last thing with regards the overall value and running costs of the Actyon, one good thing that you do get from it is you get a 5-year, 100,000 mile warranty, which is very good. And the dealer network is growing. I'm lucky that here in Yorkshire, I have 2. And obviously, if you're Yorkshire yourself and want to head to your local KGM dealer to just even have a nosy, if you're interested, maybe take one for a test drive, then check out Livingston Motor Group. They are based in Hessle and also Driffield, here in North and East Yorkshire. So after a full week of real family life with the Actyon, here's my honest take. If your number one priority is space, like you're currently bursting out the seams of your current daily family car, and you want something that's not going to break the bank and that has that space you need, then this really does do the job. Massive boot, tons of rear legroom in the back, nice comfort at the front, and those kit levels. It is absolutely brilliant value on those fronts. On paper, that is a lot of car for the money, but you do have to be realistic about the trade-offs. The ride quality is borderline poor and does need a little bit of improvement. The fuel economy, well, that's going to be the big deal breaker really. The infotainment can be a little bit frustrating. And then you have the resale value, which could sting you a little bit when it does come time for you to move it on. In terms of the road tax that we mentioned earlier of, I'll say it again, £1,650 for that first year. Some dealerships might actually work that into the overall on-the-road price of the car. But if you're thinking of it as a company car, those benefit in kind and tax benefits, no chance. So unless you're planning on keeping it for years and years and years, running it into the ground, and you just need a big car right now, then please do think carefully. By all means, check it out. Go to your local dealership, have a look around one, take it for a test drive. Should be one that is on your list, but you just got to be careful and weigh up the costs of, is the low price under 40 grand, like 38 grand, enough that you can justify the other bits that I've raised in this video. So then, the biggest question of all is, what do you reckon? Is the massive bundles of space and the amount of car in terms of the spec that you get actually worth the compromise over the ride quality, fuel economy, and possible lower resale value costs? Please do let me know in the comments below. And if you did find this video useful and helpful and think that it'd help other people, please do give it a share. Give this video a like and also subscribe to the channel for more honest, no fluff, no PR sales pitch family car reviews. Oh, and while we're on it, if you want to check out one of the Action's biggest rivals, just along here somewhere, give it a click and go and give my full review of the Nissan Qashqai and see what you think. And let me know in the comments over there, would you rather the Qashqai over the Action? Thank you very much for watching my channel, Pitt Motoring. For now, I'll see you in the next video.